Okay, so it accepted the domain, and now we're trying to configure single sign-on. Yes, we've gone past that one, but Azure AD sign-in is what we're trying to do now. And it was able to figure that up on Azure, that's my O365 tenant, the Azure part of my O365 tenant, this kazim.com is not been added. So I need to go there and add it as a custom domain, right? This is it. Let me show it to you. I'm sure we looked into this in some of our previous lessons, but let me just show it to you again. Right, so this is the tenant, my O365 tenant. From here, if I go to, it should be on the setup, I like to think. Yes, under setup, and you click on domains. So this is where you get to add your custom domains. I think in previous classes, yes, we did this in some of our, our previous class. So I attempted to add kazim.com, but this kazim.com domain is not a domain that I own, right? Kazim.com is a domain that is registered or was registered by somebody else. But assuming it's a domain that I own, I would have been able to go to the control panel and create the record that it prompts me to create, and you will see it as that's the status as completed, as opposed to setup is in progress here. So this is how you validate your domain. You click on add. In fact, let's just quickly walk through the process again. I'll click on add domain, and then I'll type in the domain that I intend to add here. Next. So you see, the next step is for us to verify the domain, to prove that we own the domain. So it's telling us, log into the control panel of that your domain called kazim.com and create either of these two records. Either I choose txt record or I choose ms record. So if I'm choosing mx or txt, so just go there and you'll find a place for txt name. You put in an @ sign. You find a place for txt value. Just copy this value and paste it in. You find a place for ttl. So put a TTL of 3,600. So this is all that you need to create to prove that you own it, right? So I believe you're cleared with this now. So let me share the screen again here. So I will say continue without verifying domain, because I don't own kazim.com. If I owned it, I would have done that, and I would have been able to tidy this up without errors here. So I'll just proceed without verifying the domain. And earlier on, I mentioned to you about filtering. I said it's possible for us to filter, for us to define what objects, what security principle do you want to transfer from your on-premises AD to Azure AD. Are you looking to move everything, or are you just looking to focus on a particular OU? So if I'm looking to focus on an OU, so I can click here, expand this, and you get the picture here. So I can only select, for instance, I have some users inside my users container. So I'll leave my users container checked, and I will uncheck every other one and proceed from there. So, but let me leave everything. I'll synchronize all domain and OUs. Click next. Okay, so uniquely identifying your users. Yes, users are represented only one across all directories in my case, and let users should be identified by Azure AD. So let's leave maintain status quo here. Um, so synchronize all users and devices, or you can synchronize selected, device or selected devices. So I would go with the first option, and everything looks good with the exception of some of these additional options that I need to check if I want them. Ability to be able to do password write back. You change a password in the cloud, so you can have AD sync, sorry, AD connect, also sync the password that you've changed in the cloud to what you have on premises, even though you shouldn't be changing it in the cloud anymore. It should be on premises, but if that is enabled, then there is going to be a write back. There's password asynchronization that you can do. So I'm not going to be choosing any one of these. I'll just click on next. And I think I've entered the credential, but let me check again. All right, so my credential is administrator, and my password, I can't remember. All right, so it looks good, so I can click on next and then start synchronization, right? So let me start synchronization, and now it is a waiting game. So this is how AD Connect, Active Directory synchronization, hybrid Active Directory hybrid configuration is done. This is how it is done. So once this setup completes now, what I need to do is to go back to my Azure tenant, that's or my O365 tenant, and go to the user section and see if you have some of your users, some of your on-premises users, if they've been moved up to the cloud. So this is it, people. I want to take your questions now before we call it a class tonight. So do you have any questions for me before we will call it a class? So if you're still with me, Tochi, Mr. Tunde, Mr. Tochi, do you have any questions for me?
I'm still with. So, sir, which exam can we take with this knowledge now?
Okay, perhaps you might need to do some reading, some additional reading. I think you should take an Azure, maybe an Azure exam, maybe Azure fundamentals.
Okay.
The Azure 103 will be too much because we didn't cover a lot of that objective in this course. So I think this course, uh, with this much that we've done, you should be able to, with just a little bit of reading now, you should be able to give the Azure fundamentals a try.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
So I think this is the last call, the last, what's it called for this course, right?
Yes, it is. The last two modules are optional. So this will be the last
Okay.
one. Except I promised you that I was going to, in one of the classes, that I was going to walk people through basics of that, just some basics of Microsoft Teams, which I've
Okay.
also not been able to do. Teams can do what your Skype for Business can do. You can do some of what your SharePoint, is capable of doing. There are a number of stuff that you can do with Teams. You can use it to set up meetings. You can use it to collaborate, you can use it to chat. So it gives you, a lot of leverage that I've not been able to, but it's not part of the course. So talking
Okay.
about it will just be, some kind of add-on. But this is the officially the last module of the
Well,
course that we've talked about now. And I'm thinking that maybe moving forward, the way I would like to